Hi buddies. So in this session, my main motive is to cover the topics of paper 16 of CMA final, that too section B. To be precise and to be simple, nothing but quantitative techniques in decision making or simply DM. Okay. So simply in SCM, part B are being discussed by us. Okay. So before going to the topic directly, let us have the brief idea of what are the topics that are available to you. Okay, mainly we are having the topics from 6 to 15, that is in as per ICMA module. I am telling this information that is from module number 6 to 15. It is regarding section B, and the weightage is clear, that is 40% weightage. And normally in the case of SCM, it is the most scoring part of your entire SCM. Okay, if you're perfect with this part, you are really safe. And this entire 6 to 15 topics are bifurcated into two areas. The very first part, okay, the very first part, if you see there, it has assignment, network analysis, linear programming, transportation, simulation, game theory, and learning curve. Okay, and these are the next balance three topics. Sir, our video mainly is useful. Part 1 is useful for both CMA final and CMA inter, and part 2 is exclusively for CMA final. Okay, mainly my concentration is for CMA final, and these topics, that is assignment, network analysis, linear programming, transportation, simulation, can be used for both the guys. Okay, now I will go topic wise, and also the two most important topics first as a preference. Okay, so very first most important topic is what? Assignment. Okay, so for example, what is the need of basic assignment? Thing is that, sir, normally how to do the work of harvesting the paddy. So I'm having two missions. If I'm using which mission, so that my cost will be minimum. Sir, normally SCM, strategic cost management, while you are doing the problems, you should be view of company's point of view. Okay, you should be acting from whose point of view? Company's point of view. Okay, is it clear? So now you are a company guy, that is, you are the management. So for a management, cost should be minimum or maximum. It should be minimized or simply optimized. So to harvest this paddy, if I am using this machine or this machine, my main motive is what? To reduce the cost. Okay, so which mission should be opted, whether this or this, is being said by the technique called assignment. Okay, or else, so for doing this job, there is a number of staff available to me, but main motive is that from company point of view, again always think from whose point of view? Company point of view. From company point of view, so which staff will be doing the work at a faster pace and at lower cost? Because I am the company, my motive is to reduce the cost. If I reduce the cost, automatically my profit part will be more. Okay, company's main motive is basically wealth maximization is okay, but in reality, what is important? Profit maximization. To maximize the profit, what I will do? I will reduce the cost. Okay, so now this is the basic information, and to be clear, so this assignment, okay, if you bifurcate it into parts, assign, that is assign, and M stands for men or a machine, and T stands for task. So now we are doing what? We are assigning men or a machine a task, so that our cost is minimized or optimized. Is it clear, What is the purpose of assignment, buddy? When we are in a position that there is one work and there are more than one staff. Basically, we try to get the work done at lowest cost. So who is a better option? Okay, so assign men or a machine a task is the main motive of assignment. Is it clear, If it is clear, normally methods for solving assignment are there 4. Okay, but for our way of solving, we are using only Hungarian method. Okay, let us go with that method directly without going in detail on necessary things and all. So basically, in the Hungarian method, there will be a matrix given to you. Okay, you have to apply some steps on the matrix, and so that, so for a person A, mission 1 is given, or for a person B, mission 2 is given, so that the work done by them will be optimum. Or for work A, which mission should be used? or for person A, which work should be given. So this is a process of allocation, basically, or assignment, assigning a task to men or a machine. So the task should be done at a faster pace. Is this clear, ma? So I give a basic model. This is a basic model how the assignment problems will be presented. The basic, not the actual problems, basic lowest level. Okay. And now the very first question is that, sir, we should identify what are rows and what are columns. Do not confuse regarding rows and columns, because that is the very first stage or first starting step for a assignment. In the case of assignment, if you are clear with what is row and what is column, then it is done, because it is a very first basic step. If you are perfect with that step and all, clear, it's done. So in the given scenario, for example, in this matrix, can you identify what are rows and what are columns? Can anyone identify, ma? What are rows and what are columns? So rows, so these are rows. Okay, so normally in this case I'm having how many rows, ma? There are row 1, row 2 and row 3. There are 3 rows. What about columns, sir? The same way we have to identify the columns also. So the columns are M1, M2, M3. Okay, so these are what, ma? They are nothing but they are columns. Okay, is it clear? If it is clear, I'm representing them again and again so that you will be having the clarity. Shall we? So basically these are rows. Okay, and what are columns, ma? M1, M2, M3. So totally there are 3 rows and 3 columns. Okay, so number of rows here it is 3 and number of columns, sorry, number of columns it is 3. Rows equal to columns, basically. So first thing is that you should be in a position to identify the what are rows and what are columns. By that this will become row 1 and this will become row 2 and this will become row 3 and this is column 1, column 2 and column 3. Is this clear, ma? This is the first basic fundamental step. If you are identifying that part, then your entire task is done. Okay, shall we go to the next part? So what is the first thing? When you are solving a problem in assignment, you need to check one basic thing, whether the number of rows is equal to number of columns or not. If it is fine, super. The first basic test or check is that number of rows is equal to number of columns. So to identify this, first you should be having the clarity what are rows and what are columns. Is it clear, ma? Next. After that, the next check is that whether the question given is maximization model or a minimization model. These two are the basic fundamental things which you need to go through while solving a problem in assignment. Am I clear, ma? If I am clear, shall I repeat the basic test check, ma? The basic check is that whether number of rows equal to number of columns, and rows are represented with the letter M. What is the letter, ma? M is the letter used to represent rows. And what about columns, ma? The letter used is there nothing but N. Is it clear? If it is clear, fine. So in this case, can you give the information regarding number of rows and number of columns in this case? Okay. So rows total is represented with the letter M. So here there are 3 rows. And what about columns, ma? It is represented with the letter N. And there are 3. So M equal to N, fine. As it is done, basically, what is the next check, ma? The next important check is that, sir, whether the question given is maximization model or minimization model. Basically, if they are giving straight away it's a maximization model, you can proceed with some basic rules, and if it is given minimization model, you can proceed with the basic rules. Normally, if they are not giving whether it is minimization model or maximization model, go with the assumption that it's a minimization model. But in reality, 100% times or 100% chances are there to give the clarity. That clarity you can get by seeing the problem. Okay, so in this case, normally how many rows are there, ma? 3 rows and 3 columns. Okay, rows are represented with the letter the rows are represented with the letter what, ma? The rows are represented with the letter M. N and columns are represented with the letter M. So normally we represent in the form of M by N. It is not M into N, it is known as M by N. So nothing but 3 by 3 matrix. It is not into, it's by 3 by 3 matrix. It is a mathematical terms and all, normally not required for us. Okay, next. So if the question is silent, then what is the thing, ma? We go with assumption of maximization model or minimization model. Okay, now If number of rows equal to number of columns and it's a minimization model, straight away follow steps. There are good number of 6 steps there. How to follow that? Basically, there are a number of steps, but most important are 6 steps. Okay, and I have mentioned them in the point number 6 also. Okay, now what if number of rows not equal to number of columns? The next thing, sir, if it is okay, fine, and then we have gone through check of minimization model, then it is fine. We will go with the steps. But what if number of rows not equal to number of columns? What we should do, ma? We need to balance it. What we should do? We should balance it, and by adding either dummy row or a dummy column. But if it is not equal, it is known as unbalanced. What is it is known as, ma? It is known as unbalanced matrix. We have to balance it. We cannot solve the problem with unbalanced matrix and all. We have to balance it and then we have to solve. Then how to balance? Whether there is shortage in dummy, whether there is shortage in columns or rows. If there is shortage in columns, add a dummy column. If there is shortage in rows, add a dummy row. Then what is this dummy? So in the case of dummy, the elements will be nothing but zeros. Okay, if the elements are zeros, then you can proceed with that. Okay, when we are adding the dummy column or a dummy row, it is balanced now. When it is balanced and all, you can solve the problem, no issue and all. And in dummies, the elements are zeros. Is it clear now? That is most important part. Okay, for example, in this case, can you give the information? What is the order of the matrix? Sir, it is the order of the matrix basically m by n. M stands for rows, n stands for columns. Here, number of rows 1, 2, 3. Okay, so 3 fine. What about columns now? 1, 2, 3, 4. So 3 by 4 matrix. Basically, m should be equal to n. Is it equal here? No. As it is not equal here, we have to balance it. Where there is shortage, either in rows or columns now, there are only 3 rows, and but we are having 4 columns. The shortage is on the rows side, so we add dummy row. Okay, how to add that? So basically, how to add that now? Sir, I will represent a dummy there. It can be different letter dummy, and the elements are 0, 0, 0. Now, when we are adding dummy, represent what is meant by D1 there. D1 stands for dummy, sir. You mention it. If you are mentioning it, will be fine. Okay. Or else simply you can mention D as a dummy. Now, in this case, now can you tell the order of the matrix when I'm after adding the dummy part and all? It is m by n. In m stands for rows, n stands for columns. Here with including dummy, we are having how many rows, ma? How many rows we are having, ma? 4 rows. And what about columns, ma? By adding, normally there is no shortage in the case of the columns. So it's 4 by 4 matrix. As it is a balanced one, and if it is minimization model, we proceed with the steps. Is it clear, ma? If it is clear, next, what is the next process there, sir? Sir, if it is a minimization model, then convert into, sorry, if it is a maximization model. So if it is a minimization model, no issue at all. We can solve the problem. But what if it is a maximization model? What is the issue, ma? The issue arises when the given problem is maximization model. So how to solve that? Just convert the maximization model into minimization model and solve the steps. The steps are common. The basic 2 checks here. The most important aspect is this: whether number of rows equal to number of columns is the first part. If it is done, superb. Next, whether the question given is minimization model or maximization. How to identify that, sir? I will show you the next step, ma. Do not be hurry and all. Be cool. Sir, if it is minimization model, no issues, we can proceed. But if it is maximization model, what I have to do, ma? We have to convert it into minimization model. How to convert, sir? So these things and all, I'm giving you the basic examples. So for example, in this case, if the question is maximization model, so you need to identify what, you need to identify the highest element of the given elements. Identify the highest element and deduct from the other elements. So in our case, highest element is 10. Okay. Now what we have to do, ma? 10 minus 10, 10 minus 2, 10 minus 1, 10 minus 4, 10 minus 3, 10 minus 5, 10 minus 4, 10 minus 4, 10 minus 6. Now we form a relatively cross matrix. Sir, that is the basic part now. Rows equal to columns, fine. Next question given it is minimization model, so we can proceed. But if it is given as maximization model, what we need to do, ma? We have to convert into minimization model. For conversion, among the elements given there, identify the highest element, and from this element, deduct all the elements and form a new matrix. This matrix is known as Relative loss matrix. Sir, in SCM, that to part B, every step is important. Okay, if you are writing every step and all, then you are fine. So straight away will go the answer, then one. Even though it is for 7 to 10 marks and all in a range, they may give only 4 marks. So it's really risky. Your exemption may go. So be careful, write the stepwise. Sir, if you are doing stepwise and all, normally peacefully if you're taking the time, it will be reasonable time. It will not take much time. But if you're doing in hurry and all, okay, if you're faster, then there may be chance for skipping of step. So my request is that you basically follow the steps. So basically, when we are at this phase, what is this phase now? We need to go with if it is a maximization model, we have to convert it into minimization model. How to convert, sir? From the elements available, identify the highest element, okay, and deduct all the elements from that highest element identified. Then you form a new matrix, okay. Now when we are solving the problem, we shall go with that option also, but basically not required. So simply I'm telling you, this is the highest element there now. Now what we will do, sir? 10 minus 10. Okay, I'm repeating this process because other than this process, everything is fine. In the case of minimization model and maximization model, it will be same. Okay, 10 minus 2, 10 minus 1, 10 minus 5, 10 minus 3, 10 minus 5, and 10 minus 4, 10 minus 4, 10 minus 6. So after solving this entire one, you get a new matrix. This is known as what, ma? Relative loss matrix. Is it clear, ma? If it is identified as relative loss matrix and all, you can solve it. Then you can go over the basic steps that are applicable in the case of minimization model. Is that clear? That is the only difference between this part and that part. Okay, that's nothing more than that. But heading is important. What is the heading, ma? Relative loss matrix. You may skip the heading, but heading is most important. Okay, from exam point of view, every step, heading and all is important. Okay, clear, ma? Next. Sir, how to identify the question whether it is a minimization model or a maximization model? Simple logic, sir. Their minimization from company point of view, what they want to minimize? Cost items. And from company point of view, what they want to maximize? Profit, revenue, turnover, percentage of commission and all. If it is clear, so it is very simple, ma. If the item is related to cost, then automatically we try to minimize. If the item is related to something like revenue, profit, turnover and all, we try to maximize it. Is it clear? So see, so if the question is regarding what, ma? Profit, sales, revenue and all, it is maximization model. Then we have to convert into minimization model. How to convert and all I have mentioned already. And if a question is related to cost related items, then it is minimization model. This basic hint will be given into the question itself. If it is clear, what are the steps to solve the problem? So the very first step is row operation. The headings are very important for you guys. If you are writing the answer perfectly and all, if you are writing without headings, gone. So the most important aspect is what, ma? Headings. What is the first part, ma? Row operation. Second one, column operation. Third one, test for optimality. Here we have to check one most important thing, whether number of rows equal to columns equal to number of allocations. Okay, it must. Otherwise, you have to go for the next step, that is improvement, improved matrix. And there can be next step, diagonal allocation, optimal allocation, and optimal solution. There are these all steps mandatorily to be found in all the scenarios? May or may not. Sir, but the first three steps are common. For every problem, first three steps and last two steps are common. Sir, based on the level of standard, level of problem and all, these two additional steps may be added. Okay, so basically first three and last two are common steps, but remaining steps and all depends upon the problem to problem. Okay, they may vary. Is it clear, ma? If it is clear, shall we go with the next step, buddies? Sir, and also I have drafted everything to be done in the case of assignment in the form of flowchart. First, okay, there can be the keywords of like assignment or optimization of a cost and all. Then automatically you can go with the assignment problem. Then the two checks we have to follow. The first check is that whether number of rows equal to number of columns is the first check. The second check is what, ma? The model of the question, whether it is minimization model or maximization model. So if it is minimization model, no issues, you can proceed. basically. So let us go to the first step. What is the first step heading, ma? Number of rows equal to number of columns. If it is yes, what do you have to do, ma? Check other part. What is whether to minimize amount. If it is both are done, then follow the steps. Sir, if it is no, then add dummy and balance it. Okay, add dummy and balance it, ma. Sir, and what about the next check, ma? Minimization model or maximization model? If it is minimization model, super. And as rows equal to number of columns, then we can proceed with the steps. Whatever steps I mentioned earlier, na row operation, column operation, test for optimality, diagonal improvement matrix, diagonal allocation. Sometimes this can be or optimal allocation, optimal solution. Okay, sir, and if it is a maximization model, what we should do, ma? We need to convert into minimization model, sir. How to convert it? Nothing is that basic logic. You will identify the highest element. From that, we used to form a new matrix, and the heading is relative loss matrix. Why I am repeating is that these are the areas you guys may make mistakes. Okay, now be careful these areas. Next, so this is a flowchart summary for the sake of calculation. Let us solve a basic problem so that you can get an idea what is that to be done. Okay, so this is the case of this is a problem given there. Okay, so read the question, my first thing, and first thing is that when a question is given, my humble request, do not jump into answers. Read the question clearly, then start solving it. Okay, without reading it completely, if you have started the answer and all gone. So my humble request, read the question twice, then start the answer. Okay, and also most important things for you guys as you are attending your exams, the nearby exams and all, question numbers play a crucial role. If you are missing the question numbers, it's gone. Even sub question numbers also important. After solving every question, sub question, write the conclusion. It has good weightage. Okay, it really plays a crucial role for your success. So now, let us go with the question. Do not waste our time at all. A project of Green IP Limited consists of 4 major jobs. Okay, for which 4 contractors have submitted tenders. Jobs are there and contractors are there. So basically, sir, how to solve and all? I mentioned steps. Now the thing is that why is a requirement, sir? There are 4 contractors and 4 jobs. Okay, company point of view, if you are giving the job to whom, so that your job should be done at a minimum cost or optimized cost. That is the most important thing. So straight away, just we cannot allocate blindly like this or like this. It may be appropriate, it may not be appropriate. By luck, it may be, but our luck and all it is secondary. Now, there is statistical process to be done so that you can get the clarity. So there is a clarity doubt for the company, which contract has to be given to which job and all. Then we are using what my assignment when there is a doubt. Okay, and this is the basic summary or information given regarding cost. What is the cost to be incurred there and all? Okay, see the tender amounts in thousands of rupees are given below. So if a contractor is doing a job A, he will incur. He has quote given quote this. So for us, whichever is lower, lowest quotation will be accepted now. Am I right? Okay. So now each contractor has to assign only one job. The basic fundamental rule, ma'am. Basically, assignment has a logic, a basic fundamental standard that for a one person, one job only. Only one job for one person. For one machine also, one job. Okay, nothing more than that. Next, what is asking, ma'am? Assess the total cost of the project. Okay, to save the time, I have drafted here. So there's the entire information given there. And presentation is most important, my dear buddies. Okay, if you're presenting them perfectly, then fine. So in this case, when we are having this problem, present it a perfect manner. Write this part once and then start the steps. So what is the first step, ma? The very first most important step is, what is that, buddies? Sir, in exam, do not go with the different colors. I may be using different colors for my convenience. Okay, so you use only black exam point of view. So what is the first step, ma'am? Row operation. What is the first step, sir? Row operation. The row operation, basically, I'm copying the same matrix again. That will be good for me, basically. Okay, in exam, you can straight away start in the first itself. By the first step itself, you can mention that part and you can proceed. Sir, basically in this part now, sir, what are the basic thing? What are rows? You need to identify what are rows and all. That will be good for you. So what are rows? So there are how many rows in this case? The very first check, number of rows equal to number of columns. So what are the rows? These are the rows. Totally how many rows are there, ma? 4 rows we are having. What about columns? A, B, C, D. 4 rows and 4 columns. So now what we should do, ma? So as the rows are clear, there are 4 rows, fine. Okay. So first check number of rows equal to number of columns. Then sir, the check is done because here the number of rows are represented with the letter what, ma? With the letter M. Here M equal to 4. What about number of columns, ma? 4. So M equal to N. The first check is satisfied. What is the next check, ma? Whether it is minimization model or maximization model. Sir, here he is given information regarding what, ma? Analyze and assign the job to appropriate contractors so as to minimize the total cost. So this information is basically what, ma? Cost related data. Sir, if I gave a contract or a job to a contractor 1, I am paying some amount now. I am paying, that is my cost now. So this information is regarding what, my cost data. Is it clear? As it is cost data, minimization model or maximization model, it's a minimization model. Okay. So as it is clear and all, as it is a minimization model, we need to go to steps. That is the first step. What is the first step? The operation. So before solving the problem, check two things. What are those two things? M equal to N. That is number of rows equal to columns and minimization model or maximization. If it is minimization model, you can start. Okay. So now, what is the basic thing, sir? Identify, what do you have to identify, ma? In each row, least number. What is the least number in each row? Row this 4. What is the least number? 37 is the least number. And in the second row, what is the least number? 20. And in the third, what is the least number? 25. And in the fourth, what is the least number? Fourth, it is 43. Sir, do not run, okay, because in assignment and all, you may be taking 1 minute more, but if you are doing with a cool mind, it's fine. Okay, so what is the basic thing, ma? Row operation, we need to identify the least element in each row. So identify the least element, ma. In the case of row 1, what is the least element? 37. In the case of second, it is 20. In the case of third, it is 25. In the case of 4, it is 43. Is it clear? Clear. It's clear. Now what is the next step, sir? Sir, detect the least number identified from the respective rows. From each element, reduce it and form a new matrix. Sir, by seeing this, what can be the matrix there, ma? So I'm copying it again. Sir, for me copying is easy, but for you it may not be. So you need not worry. So what is the least number there identified by 37 now? So 39 minus 37. 70 minus 37. 37 minus 37. 50 minus 37. Okay. And 20 is the least number identified now. 20 minus 20. 27 minus 20. 47 minus 20. 60 minus 63 minus 20. And next number identified is 25 now. So 25 minus 25. 37 minus 25. 58 minus 25. And 49 minus 25. What about next scenario, ma? 43. 43 minus 43, 48 minus 43, 46 minus 43, 50 minus 43. After deducting, you have to get a next matrix, basically. So what is the next matrix there, ma? Directly I'm writing here itself. For your convenience, I'm repeating this step. This is the most important step. So in the case of row operation, what are we doing, ma? We are identifying the least element in each row. What are we doing, ma? Identifying the least element in each row. Okay. So after identifying, what are we doing, ma? We are deducting it from the respective rows. Okay, sir, when we are deducting it, in this case, what is the number we are getting in this case, ma? That is 2. Okay, in this case, what is the next element, ma? Next least number there, 33. Here it is 0. Here it is 13. Is it clear, ma? Check it properly, buddy. If you are checking them perfectly, then it's fine. Because, and one more thing, in the case of OEM, do not use your mind. Use the calculator, buddy. Okay. If you are using calculator, it will be very good for you. Is it clear, ma? So identify the least numbers and deducted it. 37 is least, 2, and it is 33, and it is 0, and it is next one, it is 13. Is it clear? 50 minus 37. Now, what is the next case, ma? It is 0 here. Here it is 7. Here it is 27. And here it is how much, ma? 43. What about this case, sir? It's 0. And here it is 12. And here it is 33. And here it is how much, ma? 49 minus. It's a 24. What about next, sir? It is 0, it is 5, it is 3, it is 7. Sir, after row operation, I am getting this matrix. What is the next step, sir? Column operation. What is it, ma? Column operation. Sir, how to do column operation, sir? Sir, by using the same matrix. Okay. For the sake of our convenience, I am copying again. But you need not copy multiple times. You can do the same heading there itself. Sorry. The next is what, ma? Column operation. So for a column operation, heading is most important. Column operation. So in the case of column operation, what are we doing, ma? Same like rows, row operation, in the same way we're doing column operation. What is that, sir? Identify the least element in each column. Okay. So in this case, the least element is there are three zeros. Any zero is fine. Okay. So fine. Next, in this case, 5. In this case, 0. In this case, it is 7. Is it clear, ma? Of identification. What is the next process, sir? The number should be deducted from the respective columns. Okay. So by deducting, we can get a new matrix. What is that new matrix, sir? What is that new matrix, sir? I'll represent this in the next part there. You can write the same thing in the same step, ma. Just mark it with a pencil, the highest number, and form a new matrix. At the end, what is the result? That is, you have to mark it in a separate part. So if you go like this, okay, 0 is the least number, so it will not affect anyway. But here, it is 5. So automatically 5 minus 5, 12 minus 5, 7 minus 5, 33 minus 5. Zeros will not affect. Here 7 minus 7, 27, 4 minus 7, 43 minus 7, 30 minus 7. Okay. So the new thing will be here it is 0, 0, 7, 2, and here how much more? 28. So this 0 anyway 0, no, it will not affect. Here it is all about more. It is 0, and here it is how much? 17. And here it is how much more? 36. Alright, 36. And here it is, sorry, here it is 6. So now we are done with the row operation, column operation. So these are the first two steps. Is the second step clear, ma? Or if you are clear with the column operation, row operation, the column operation is very, very easy. Okay. So now what is the next part, sir? In the next part, we are going for test for optimality. Sir, what is this test for optimality? Sir, test for optimality is very, very important. So listen carefully, ma. Okay. Shall we? Yes or no? With some energy from you guys. Okay. Definitely yes. Then now the next step is what, ma? After row operation, column operation. Sir, one more thing, most important thing is that when we are doing row operation, whatever you are getting the end matrix is a starting matrix for column operation. And in the column operation, whatever end matrix you are getting, it is a starting part for test for optimality. Okay. One step ending point will be next step a starting point. Okay. So now what is the next step? My third step, as per the rule, the third step is test for optimality. What is that now? Test for optimality, sir. What do I have to do, sir? In this case, as usual, whatever matrix you are obtaining earlier step has to be taken as a step for this starting point. So in this case, what we need to do, basically, you should be in a position to What do you have to do, ma? The check, there should be some sort of checking. The checking process should start always from rows, and next it will go after completion of all the rows. You can go for a check with the columns. What I should check, sir? What I should check, sir? A row with a single zero. What is that, ma? Row with a single zero. I have to check it. I have to identify a row with a single zero. So in the case of first row, is there a single zero, ma? Yes, sir, there is a single zero. Superb. Okay. When there is a single zero, am I clear? What are we checking, ma? We are checking rows with a single zero. Sir, is there a row with single zero? First row there is single zero. Then strike the column. Sir, first mark the zero. It is a single zero, sir. Now what we need to do, sir? We have to cancel the column that is having that zero. But I'm cancelling it. Fine. Is it clear? Next, what we should do, sir? Next, sir, next go with the next row. You check. You check the next row. After completion of each row, then you go with the columns. Sir, we are checking the rows with a single zeros. Shall we go the next one, ma? So in the next column, is there a single zero, ma? Yes, sir, there is single zero. Superb. Then what we need to do, ma? We need to mark it and we need to cancel the column. Is it clear? If it is clear, sir, is there any third row with single zero? No. What about fourth row, ma? No. There are two zeros. Now, what is the next process, sir? All the rows are being checked for single zeros. If single zero is identified, we marked it and we cancelled the column. Then we are going for a check with the columns. How to do this, sir? Basically, in this case, check the columns with the single zeros. What is that, ma? Check the columns with a single zeros. So now in this case, what are the columns? Sir, when a column is being striken, do not consider it. Consider other part. So when lines are covered, they are striken. They are no more. Check the other part. Sir, B is not being striken. Is there a single zero? Yes, there is single zero. What is the next thing, ma? We need to mark it, sir. We need to mark it. Finally marked, sir. Then we have to cancel what, ma? Respective row. Is it clear? If it is clear. So now we are done with the test for optimality. But here, whether we reach the optimal solution or not, there is a cross check. What is the cross check point, sir? M equal to, sorry, one second. No? Oh. M equal to N equal to number of allocations. Okay, if this happens, then we reach to the optimal solution. Sir, but here, are we reaching the optimal solution, ma? No. Why no, sir? The reason is that, sir, how many rows are there, ma? 4 rows. How many columns are there, sir? 4. But number of allocations made by you. What are those allocations, ma? Nothing but these. 1, 2, 3. Only 3 allocations are done, sir. So this will be not equal to 3. So when it is not equal, m equal to n equal to number of allocation, it is not equalized. Then go for improved matrix. What is that, sir? Improved matrix. For everything, the basic fundamental rule is that for row operation, what is end matrix we are getting? That will be the starting part for column operation. In the column operation, whatever last matrix we are getting, that will be the starting part for test for optimality. If the test for optimality, if m equal to n equal to number of allocations, then fine. We reach the optimal solution, then we can go for optimal allocation and optimal solution. But is it proved there? Is it satisfying that condition? No. As m equal to n not equal to number of allocations, we have to go for next step. What is that step, ma? Improved matrix. What is that, sir? Improved matrix. So in the case of improved matrix, what we should do and all, basically I have mentioned here this point. Sir, normally first listen, ma. In the case of improved matrix, sir, we need to identify the least element from the uncovered elements. Sir, these are uncovered elements, no? These totally 6 elements are there uncovered. Among these, identify the least element. Sir, is it 28 list or 2 list or 7 list? 2 is the least from all these uncovered elements. Okay. So this 2 should be identified. This number should be done normally 3 adjustments. So you have to categorize the entire matrix into 3 categories. That is junction, covered, and uncovered. 3 categories. What are those 3 categories now? Junctions, covered, uncovered. Sir, whatever the item element, least element identified from the uncovered elements should be added at junctions. And for the covered, do not do anything, neither plus nor minus. Do not. Okay. But for uncovered, deduct. Is it clear, ma? Sir, we need to categorize when we are going for improvement matrix, ma, when the test or check is being not satisfied. What is the check, sir? M equal to N equal to number of allocations. If it is satisfied, fine. If it is not satisfying, then we need to go with the next step, that is improved matrix. Sir, what we need to do improved matrix? Just categorize the entire matrix into 3 categories. What are those, sir? Junctions, covered, uncovered. What are junctions, sir? What are junctions, sir? Intersection of 2 lines. Here there is one element, na? That is junction element. Even here there is a junction, na? For that reason, I humbly request you to go with the pencil for CMA final SCM exam. Even the CMA inter students who are writing OM, they also opt for this. It will be good for you. Am I clear? Sir, if I am clear with this part, now in this case, what is the least number? Mod 2 is the least number at junctions. Sir, here I will add here and here. These two are junctions now. There I will add. Sir, uncovered elements. From that I have to delete. That is the point. So from covered, nothing. No adjustment is required. Is it clear? If it is clear, the same part is mentioned theory also. Sir, what is improved matrix now? All the elements in the matrix of test for optimality should be categorized into 3 elements. What are those? Covered, uncovered junctions. Just I change the order. That's about it. Next, identify the least element from among the uncovered elements. From the uncovered elements, you have to identify least. Okay. If least element is identified, then what now? So add at junctions, detected and covered. For covered, nothing is required. Is it fine? Shall we do that part now first? Okay. So we shall do that part once. This is a matrix we got there. I'm representing here. The test for optimality we got is, and now the least element is what now? The least element from uncovered is 2. So where we should add, sir? Here we should add as their junctions. Nothing but 2 lines intersection is junctions. So while you are drafting the lines and all, be careful and present them properly. Okay. And these are uncovered now. I will change the color. That will be good for you. -2, -2, -2, -2, -2, -2. And form the new matrix form. What is the new matrix there, buddy? Just I'm arranging in the same matrix itself. You can form in a new way. Okay. I will present it separately. It will be good for you. So now, so this is nothing but what now? What is ready for this? It's improved matrix. What is this, sir? It's a improved matrix. So for improved matrix and all, basically these lines are not required now. We'll draft them again. Basically, 1 second now. So we made some sort of adjustments now. Fine. This part will be 2, and here it will be 5. Am I clear? Yes. Here it will be 4. Here it will be 34. Here it will be 15. And this will not be getting affected at all. And here it will be 26. Here it will be 0. Here it will be 5. And this also is not getting affected. And here it is 8. And here it will be 8. So there is a new matrix we got after doing the improvement step. Now at the improvement step, what we need to do, sir? Is it clear now? Everything is fine. Everything is covered, being adjusted properly. And now, so same as usual, you can go for test for optimality. What is the test for optimality, sir? I am repeating in the same matrix itself. So what we should do, sir? Basically, test for optimality. So in the test for optimality, we need to go for a check of each row with a single zero. So here there is single zero. Okay, fine, I'll cancel the column. Next, there is single zero. No single zero, no. Two zeros are there. So in the third, there is single zero. How to cancel which part now? The column part. Clear? So now any other rows with single zeros? As all the rows are checking is done, now go to the columns. In the case of columns, in the second column it is two zeros. Not possible. And in the third one it is already cancelled. Now when it is cancelled, do not consider it. In the fourth, that is D, there is single zero. Mark it and cancel this. Done with the columns also. Now again check. There we have to go for check for test for optimality until unless all the zeros are covered. Okay, sir, we have to repeat the test for optimality step, that is checking of all the rows first one by one with a single zero. Mark it and cancel the column. If rows are done, go with go with the column part. In the same way, columns will check it. If it is done, then again rows. Till when, till all the zeros are covered by the lines. Okay. Now I am checking the rows with single zero. So is there a chance? No. Is there a chance? Yes. So mark it and cancel what mark columns. Now the check is that, sir, whether m equal to n equal to number of allocations. Sir, m for n for number of allocations. So how to get 1, 2, 3, 4? Superb. We are very happy. Okay. So now we are having the allocations of the fine. Now whatever solution we got is optimal solution, but it should be presented in a proper manner. It's optimal allocation. Just allocation. We will get what my optimal solution. Okay. Shall we? So till here it is done. Have a quick recall, ma. First, what is the first step, sir? Basic first step, ma. Row operation. Next column operation. Test for optimality. If test for optimality is reaching, that what is checked there, ma? M equal to n equal to number of allocations. If it is reached, fine. Then what is next step, ma? If it is not reached, the next step is improved matrix. So improved matrix, what are we doing, ma? From the uncovered elements, we identify the least element, and that least element is adjusted at the junctions added, and from the uncovered deducted, and we form a new matrix. Again, repeated test for optimality. While you are repeating test for optimality, you are checking the rows with single zeros. If zero is identified, single zero, then mark that zero and cancel the column. Okay, if all the rows are being checked in a proper order, then go with the columns. If all the columns are done, again go with the rows. So till when? Till all zeros are covered by the lines. Okay, now we reach the optimal allocation. So we need to find the optimal solution. So now we reach the point where our cross check is done. What is next to be done, sir? Here you need to be very cautious, ma. The last matrix we obtained here should be compared with the matrix given in the question. Okay, I'm repeating this point. Here at hurry and all, with the 3 hours examination, you may be fast and you may be taking some wrong decisions. Do not be cool with these problems. So whatever last matrix we obtained, what we should do, ma? This matrix should be compared with the matrix given in the question, sir. What is the matrix given in the question, sir? This is the matrix given in the question. Okay. Now I'm comparing with that this last matrix with this. The matrix is done. This. So end matrix, whatever we are getting, we are comparing with the question. Okay. So now the column will be clear. So the contractor and the job given to him is allocation, and we get the cost. The cost part is nothing but solution. Okay, that is optimal allocation, optimal solution. Then add the word. One word common is that optimal is common. So I am rearranging this more. Optimal allocation, optimal solution. So who are our contractors, ma? So here we are having 4 contractors. What are those contractors? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now see the allocation. That is important, sir. For contractor 1, what is the job given? Job C. So right there, ma, the allocation done there is C. For contractor 2, what is the job given, ma? The job given is B. Okay. So for a contractor 3, what is the job given, ma? For a contractor 3, the job given is A. For a contractor 4, what is the job given? Finally, the job left over there is D. And one more basic rule, ma. Here, one person, one life, one person, one marriage, one person, one wife is safe. If you're going for other option, life is really risky. One is more, okay. Facing one is very, very tough. If you're opting for more and more, gone. Okay, one life, one person, one life. The same way, one person, one job. Okay, for sure. That is a basic rule. So we made allocation. Now, what is the solution, sir? So in this case, just compare our last matrix with the question given there. Sir, here, sir, for C, what is the value of that one, ma? 37. Sir, here it's C, na? For 1, we have C. For 1, C, that is 37. Is it clear, sir? This is the value. Now, what about that? You mentioned that one over there. That will be 37. And what about 2, sir? For a 2, we are having B. For a 2, it is B. That is 27. And for C, oh, sorry, for 3, job A, that is 25. And for 4, it is last one, that is 50. It is 50. What is the total, ma? So 7, 7, 14, 19. And here it is 1. Here it is, how much, what is 39, 139. Okay, so now as it is a cost given there in the question, 139, what are the measurement units has mentioned anything? Nothing. So what is the value of what is the total cost? Sir, we are done with the Roman number 1. We analyzed it and we assigned the jobs also, that is allocation part. Okay, to minimize the total cost of the project. Next, assess the total cost of the project. What is the total cost of the project, ma? What is the total cost, sir? What is the total cost, sir? This part is the total cost. Okay, that is 139 is the total cost. Am I clear with assignment, ma? If I am clear with you for the sake of assignment, shall we go with a quick recall? What we have done, sir? Sir, basically, we are following with the steps. What is row operation, sir? Before row operation, what is the basic cross check, ma? Whether rows equal to columns and minimization model or maximization model. If rows equal to columns and it's a minimization model, follow these steps, sir. But if rows equal to columns but it is a maximization model, what we have to do, ma? We have to convert into minimization model, sir. But sir, rows not equal to columns, sir. Then what we have to do, ma? We have to add a dummy where there is shortage. In the place of rows, shortage, add a dummy row. If there is shortage in the case of columns, add a dummy column. Is it clear, ma? If it is clear, sir, then the first step is what, ma? Row operation. From each row, identify the least element and deduct it. What about column operation, sir? Column operation main motive, same as row operation. From each column, we are identifying the least element. Then go for test for optimality. Sir, test for optimality is that checking the rows with the single zeros and mark the respective column with a line across it. When we are crossing, be careful. Those elements are not at all present. Okay, so once we are reaching the test for optimality, if it is satisfied, fine. If it is not satisfied, we will go with the improved matrix. Is it clear, ma? Sir, diagonal allocation and all is very, very easy. I will give with one basic problem. Normally, at the last stage of diagonal allocation, I will present it. Basically, no issues, ma. Sir, normally there can be in the case of here to the step, there is no. When we are going with improved matrix and all, after that we are going for optimality. In the optimal test and all, normally we are searching for single zero, but there can be a scenario where more than one zero is left and not covered by the lines. More than one zero is left and not covered by the lines. Then we have to go for what, ma? Diagonal allocation. Okay, select any zero random values, select diagonal zeros. Okay, and from there go to diagonal zeros. And here also, what is the basic principle? One person, one life, one person, one wife, one person, one. Okay, not more than one. The same way the rule has to be followed, and you can do it. Okay, so is it fine, ma? This is a part of basic assignment, sir. Why? What is the reason of assignment, sir? For a company point of view, there may be in a situation or there may be a dilemma for which contractor, which job should be allocated, for which mission we have to do which job, so that our target or our main motive should reach. What is our main motive, ma? To optimize the cost or to minimize the cost. Okay, this is the part of assignment. If you are having any doubts regarding assignment part or any problem to be solved, immediately I will post the answer. You can post in the comments. Okay, am I fine? Is it fine, ma? So hi guys. So in this session we are dealing with the most important topic, that is basically when you are going with both CMA inter and CMA final, you are having a common topic called network analysis. So we are dealing with a network analysis, shall we? So here in the case of network analysis, what is the basic theme? What is the purpose of network analysis? So basically, when you are having a thought to complete your CMA, okay, or if you want to construct a house, there is a number of things to be done. And if you are writing these things in the form of a narrative form, common man may understand or may not understand. But however, if you are going with a diagrammatic or pictorial representation, then even a layman can get a basic clarity. So network analysis is nothing but entire project, whatever with the project, whether a CMA completion or a house, a villa completion and all, is being depicted or presented in the form of a picture. Okay, by using arrows and all. So this is nothing but arrow diagram. It is also known as what, ma? Arrow diagram. Okay, sir. In the case of your CMA, there are basically three stages: foundation, inter, and final. And between inter and final, there are articles. This is the process. If I write this in the form of narrative way or descriptive way and all, you may not be getting clarity. But if I show in the form of pictures, stages in the form of flow chart and all, you will get more clarity. So in the same way, network analysis is representing every complex situation into simple diagrammatic representation. Okay, so there are some fundamentals. The basic fundamental is that activity. Sir, what is activity in the case of network diagram? The basic first fundamental, ma. So listen carefully. So while you are solving this part, fundamentals are most important. Okay. Sir, operations are represented by using an arrow. Sir, in the case of CMA, there are three stages now: foundation, inter, articles, and final. The four stages, articles are excluded basically. These four stages, if they are represented in the form of arrows and we are constructing a flowchart or a diagram, okay, that is this one. But however, each activity or each task in the project will be represented with the help of an arrow. Okay, and it is represented with a letter of capital letter. There is different representations. Either you can use a capital letter or you can use numbering also. Okay, 1, 2, or capital letters for sure. And while you are representing or while you are forming a network diagram, the basic thing is that construct the diagram with a pencil first. If it is satisfied, then you can frame with a pen and all, no issues. And straight away, if you are doing with a pen and all, there can be different adjustments. If the adjustments are not done properly, the result may be not be effective and it won't be superb. The user diagram should be neat and tidy, na? So present it in the form of pencil first in the rough. If you are satisfied that the question in the question, whatever conditions given are satisfied, then you can go ahead with the pen. Okay. So first, the activity should be presented in the form of alphabetically and ascending order. That is A, B, C, D, and all. Okay. So the best example is this. We are representing in the form of capital letters, basically. Okay. Can also be represented with the numbers. That is 1, 2. So this is activity. Activity A can also represent as 1, 2, or B can be represented as 2, 3. So from here, for example, B starts basically. Okay. Now, but never with the numbers. The activities will never be represented with the numericals and all. Only letters. The two capital letters are used basically. Okay. Now, there is one more term. What is meant by predecessor? Basically, sir, normally for activity B, it is represented with an arrow that has starting event, ending event. So this is B. For B, what is preceding it? A. Okay, that is predecessor. And for C, what is preceding it? B. Sir, predecessor and successor are very important. Why? Because in the question they will be giving activities and what are preceding them or what are the predecessors. Okay. So for a C activity, what is a predecessor? B is a predecessor. And for B activity, what is a predecessor? A. This is the basic part and basic terminology. Sir, activity is clear now. So how the activity is represented in the form of arrow, and it is represented with the letters. Either numericals also can be used. That is 1, 2, but never with a single number, basically. Okay. And what is successor? Sir, for by having the knowledge of predecessor, you can get clarity of successor also. What is that, sir? It is very easy, ma. For activity A, what is coming after it? That is successor. And for activity B, what is coming after it? See, those things will be successors. Okay. And what about concurrent? So if two activities are starting simultaneously from one point, so if two activities are starting from one point at the same time, they are known as concurrent activities. Clear? Next. So there is one more basic important thing regarding directions. The directions can be forward, upward, or downward, but never in the case of backward or curve. Basically, they will never use curves. Exception, there are some sort of exceptions. Normally, for your level, there are no curves and all. Okay, but there can be loop like this. Okay, that we shall see. So, what are directions, ma? Forward, upward, and downward, and never in the backward or a curved direction. Okay, and one more thing. So, always the arrow starts from left and ends to right. Direction is always from left to right, never from right to left. This is not at all followed. Always left to right. Okay, so is it clear now? And never right to left, and even top to bottom also not at all fixed. Basically, these are the basic fundamentals. You have to follow these things while you're drafting a diagram. Okay, and here if we go further, this is one example now, and let us go with other parts also. So regarding direction also, the basic fundamental rule is that always from left to right. So this way, this will be the appropriate diagram, and never in this way or never in this way. I'm showing what should not be done also. Mainly from exam point of view, these rules should be definitely followed. Okay. And next, sir, what is it, sir? Next most important thing is the event. So what is meant by event? Event represents what ending and starting of an activity. Okay, so if this is an activity, the starting part is an event and ending part is also event. It is also known as node. Okay, whatever this circle it is there now, this part is known as what starting event for the activity, and the ending part is ending event. The starting event is known as tail part. What is that starting part is known as what tail part, and ending event is known as head part. Is it clear? Because we give some sort of representations for the starting part, starting event, and ending event. So they are very, very important. So now, the starting point and ending point of the network must be a single event point. Okay. So for this, there is single event, and for this, also a single event. Basically, it's the basic fundamentals. And next, so by seeing this, can you try to draft a diagram with the basic fundamentals which you have drafted? So the first column is giving information regarding what activity, and the second part is representing information regarding preceding. Okay, so for activity A, what is before it? So terminology is important. Preceding and succeeding. Preceding means before it. Succeeding means after it. Okay, so let us start a diagram now. So here basically the purpose is clear now. So this can be any, for example, if you are constructing a metro, there can be a number of activities, a number of tasks. These should be represented in the form of arrows, so that for a guy like engineer or anyone, he can get the layout of it, how it starts, how it ends, what can be done parallelly, what can be done simultaneously, and these things can be done. What cannot be done without starting someone. Okay, so after completion of one event, only one activity, we can start other activity. These information can be given or depicted by the layout or print or network diagram, whatever we are doing. Okay, sorry. So in this case, we are having how many activities? Two activities in the activity column, and he also gave preceding column. So totally 4 activities are present there. So basically, so activity C, what is the preceding A, and activity D, what is preceding B. So let us do that first. Basically, basic way of diagrams and all. Okay, so if you take this as activity A, it is represented in the form of arrow, and it should start from left to right. Okay, next after that, what is there? C. Clear? Next, what about next one, sir? There is activity D, and preceding that there is an activity called B. Basically, Activity B is preceding, no? So this is D. Sir, but this is a basic way of representing, but there are some sort of rules. What are those rules, sir? The basic rules is that there should be one starting event and one ending event for entire project. But here, if you see the diagram, there are two starting events and there are two ending events. Okay, so it is not at all appropriate. Clear? If we go further, let us how to construct it perfectly so that it will be effective. Okay, as some parts of this question, basic question, the activity or anything is given, any information is given that preceding B or preceding A, is there anything? No. And regarding B, is there anything preceding? So nothing there. So both A and B are starting simultaneously. They are concurrent. Am I clear? They are concurrent. And after A, what is starting? It starts with a C. And after B, what is starting? D. So once the diagram is done, please have a cross check with the question. Okay, whatever things given in the question, are they satisfied or not? If they are satisfied, the way you are doing is perfect. But one more fundamental rule is that, what is the fundamental rule I said now? There should not be more than one starting event and more than one ending event. Sir, here superb. Only one starting event. But what about the 2 points? More than two ending events. So to have a better diagram, what I will do, this is not at all appropriate. So I'm reframing it. A and it is B and it is C and it is D. This is a perfect diagram. Sir, now see all the basic rules. Sir, activity is represented in the form of arrow and it is represented with the letters. And so activity A and activity B, there are no preceding parts. Check the question just. If you are checking the question and all, if it is satisfied, then it's super. Okay, and next one more thing, and starting one event, ending one event. Always direction left to right, from left to right. Okay, these are basic fundamentals regarding the question. Clear? If it is clear, what is next one? Sir, do not use, sir, they are asking you to represent the activities in the form of arrows. But you should not use extra arrows. Whatever required, that should be used. Because arrow represents what, an activity. Activity consumes what, either resource or a time. For example, if the construction of wall is an activity, it consumes time. For example, 5 days. And it also consumes resources. Okay, both are consumed. So activity, whatever you are representing, it should be perfect one or only required. Do not use unnecessary. Okay. So never draw any extra arrows which aren't necessary or which do not show any activity. Basic rule. Okay. Now, there is some other point called danglings and loop. What is this, sir? By seeing this diagram, see the points first. So what is the basic fundamental rule? The basic fundamental rule is that starting should be one event and ending should be one event. But however, by seeing this arrangement, there are more than two ending events. So such a dangling should not be present. So to make it perfect, we need to either go and extend till there. Okay. Is it clear? If it is clear, and one more thing, this is dangling. What about loop, sir? Sir, loop in the sense, for example, if you see F, okay, F after that they are going to G, that I next what more? So basically, if I rearrange them for your convenience, if I change the directions, you see once. Sir, is this a loop or not? Sir, once you travel this line, when you are entering into this line and all, it is okay, from G to I, from I to J, from J to H, again and again, it is going like a loop. Sir, never create loops and danglings in the network diagram. If you are creating, it's gone. Okay, because the fundamental thing is that it is never ending process. A loop is a never ending process. When the loop is a never ending process, is it useful? It is not at all, because the project is showing starting and ending. Okay, so such things should not be encouraged basically. Okay, and never those things will be repeated there in the case of exam. Is it clear, Mo? If it is clear, super. Next, shall we go with other parts? Now, sir, to rearrange them, I am going with a proper presentation. The way of representation should be effective, and if you are not representing properly, it's gone. Now is there in loop? No. And in the case of this diagram also, to make it correct, or to make it appropriate, we should extend the D portion till the I. Normally, we can arrange it properly, but I'm giving the information. So never there should be language or loop. Is it clear now? Next. Then the next basic example. From this, can you try to construct a network diagram? So in the case of network diagram, if you're perfect with the construction of diagram, everything is easy. Because the first basic fundamental step is that construction of diagram. Okay. So now let us do it. Shall we, ma? And while you are doing, pause the video here, you try once and then compare your answer with my answer. What is the reason, sir? Because whenever you are trying to find the answers from your own way of doing, then it's fine. You are making some work to your brain. Or else, so let us anyway solve it, we shall see it, and then we shall do it. Then it's of no use. Because in the exam point of view, if there is chance for some new idea or new question, then you may be getting fear. So to avoid that, practice the itself. So pause the video here and try to do it. Okay. So let us do more. So in the case of question, so he gave three activities in the activity column, and in the preceding column he gave two activities. So now by using this, we shall start. Sir, preceding activity preceding A, is there anything more? No, there is nothing. So straight away we can start that one. That is activity A. Then what is next, sir? Even preceding B also there is nothing. So preceding A and preceding B, there is nothing now. As there is nothing preceding them, automatically what does it represent? They are starting simultaneously or concurrent activities. Okay, so now we are going to B. And one more kind request, while you are going with the OM, the two in the case of this topic is applicable for CMA inter also and CMA final also. So when you are solving the network diagrams and all, basically try to do it with a pencil first. If it is satisfied, go with the pen. Am I clear now? So basically, if you are doing with a pencil, then you can arrange the arrows, what the length is more or not. So the diagram will be effective, basically. Length and all not important, but if you are representing them properly, then it will be good. Okay, now A and B are done. Sir, what about next, sir? Sir, he is giving information that C starts after the completion of A and B. Okay, so now how it is a professor? Think once and tell me. Is it possible? So let us go with it. C starts after the completion. C. Fine. Is it done? Is it done, ma? So a diagram is done, but what are the basic fundamentals that are being violated? So there is starting one event, but two ending events. As it is a violation, sir, I'll rearrange it properly. A, B, one second, A, sir, C. Now is it satisfying the condition? Sir, one thing is sure, starting one event, ending one event, but cross check, have a cross check with the question. Sorry, have a cross check with the question. What do you have to do, sir? So while you are having a cross check with the question, sir, preceding A, preceding B, nothing there is there. So A preceding there is nothing, and B preceding fine. But what about C, ma'am? C starts when A and B are completing. So even then, so sir, fine, sir. C is starting after the completion of B, but however, is it starting after the completion of A? No. So when the rules, when you are done with the diagram, have a cross check, a reverse check, whether all the conditions given are satisfied or not. And there should not be never satisfaction of any other additional conditions. Is it clear? If it is clear, sir, here there is a requirement of something called dummy. In this scenario, what are we using? We are using something called dummy. Okay. So I'll give the points, dummy activities. Let us complete that one first so that you can get a clarity. Sir, dummy is used only to maintain the logical flow of a diagram. And dummy do not consume resources or time. Okay, so to complete this diagram which satisfies all the conditions, I'm representing like this. It is A, okay, and B is also starting simultaneously. There is nothing preceding. And now if I go with C here, but to go with the logical flow, I'm representing a dummy with a dotted line. This is nothing but what more dummy activity. The dummy activity do not consume any resources. So once the diagram is done, whether the use is appropriate or not, how to check that one? Just go to the question. Have a cross check. Sir, what is the basic fundamental first step? Preceding A, there should not be. Preceding A is a activity, no. And what about B, ma? Preceding B, there should not be any activity, even they're satisfied. What about C, ma? C starts after the completion of A and B, whether it is done or not. C, ma. Sir, B is done from there, C started. What about A, ma? Sir, A is done till here, but we are extending it logically by using a dummy. So both the conditions are satisfied. Okay, this is one point where we can use dummy. Sir, as they give permission to use dummies, it is not appropriate to use dummies as much as you need. To use them most appropriate things only, whatever required. Okay. So for dummy, there are some sort of rules. Dummy activity. What is one? It denotes no activity and it does not consume time and cost. Okay. Cost in the sense of resources, basically. Okay. This activity is used only to maintain what my logical flow of a network diagram. It is represented with dotted lines and without indicating any alphabet. So this is the way of representation. Okay. So and you can give it as a dummy also if you want. If you're giving a letter for that, represent the letter with a note point as a dummy. Or better to write dummy as. So if you're having more than one dummy, you will give dummy 1, dummy 2, dummy 3. So on. Okay. The next. There are only two cases where we are using dummies. The first case, what is the first case for? When two activities are having same starting and same ending event. What is that point, ma? When two activities are having same starting and same ending event, then we use dummy. Okay, so let us go with an example. This is a previous example which I discussed. Okay, and even we constructed diagram. So what is the basic rule, ma? Two activities are having same starting event and same ending event. Okay, let us see the point first. The earlier diagram which we have done regarding this. Okay, basically normally if we see this part, so A is an activity and they also said that at the same point B also starts. Okay, sir, started B. And whatever he is telling us, C starts where both A and B end. So normally by that point we can draft like this A and B. So now in this case, is it clear, ma? Sir, A and B activities are having same starting event and same ending event. So this won't be appropriate at all. So two activities cannot have the same starting event and same ending event. So to maintain the logical flow, what are we doing, ma? We are using dummy. Is it clear? So this is the first case where we can use dummy. If two activities are having same starting and same ending, okay, then automatically we are using dummy. Is it clear, ma? If it is clear, this is the first case of using dummy. So is it clear, ma? It is the first scenario where we use dummy. If it is fine, shall we go with other part? So let us go with the first part. Basically, whatever theory there mentioned. Sir, when two activities are having what, ma? Same start event and end event. So this case is clear now. So if this case is clear, you are very effective. This is the first case where you are using dummies. Sir, for dummies also there are rules. Should not violate those rules, basically. Okay. So if it is fine, what is the next scenario, ma? In the next case, we are going the next scenario. What is the next scenario, sir? Sir, next scenario is regarding the usage of dummies, but there will be a straightaway hint for us. For example, an activity repeats twice in the preceding column. What is the point, ma'am? An activity repeats twice in the preceding column, one individually and others can be combination. It is not just twice, ma'am. It can be more than twice also. Okay. So, for example, in the preceding column, what is the activity repeating there? B, it is repeating individually once, and other times it can be with any combinations. Okay. So B is repeating twice here basically. So minimum two times. One is individually and other with a combination. Then from that B point we have to start done. So see the conundrum now. If any activity occurs at least two times in the preceding column, that is one time separately and other time simultaneously with other activity. Other time it is a combination. So now in this case, how to construct the diagram, sir, that is important. Shall we? So basically in this case, what he gave, ma, activity A is common, there is nothing preceding. Okay, and even in the case of B also there is nothing preceding. What about C, ma? C starts after the completion of A and B basically. Okay, sir, now what is the point of doubt there? Sir, as you said C starts, I will start here C And one second, I will extend this for your convenience. This is C, sir. I will start the dummy from B. This is one way. Okay. As I said the rule now, if an activity is repeated twice or more than twice in the preceding column, then from that activity you have to start dummy. This is a basic point, basically. But however, sometimes you may also draft a diagram like this. Okay. And this is C and you are writing this. If you are doing like this, what is violating there? To the point. Sir, again, what is he telling? Ma? He is telling that in the next part, see the next part there, ma. D starts after the completion of B. What is the point he mentioned, ma? D starts after the completion of B. So, superb, sir. Anyway, you said I will start there. So, B, that is D. Now, how many ending points are there, ma? 2 ending points. So, while using dummy also, if you are following the logic or pattern, then you will be safe. Is it clear? So, this is not appropriate. Okay. So, how to make it appropriate? So, I said the logic now. What is the logic we said, ma? The logic is that whatever activity is repeating twice, from that we have to start dummy. So I started there. Now what is the next point there, ma? The next point mentioned there is that D starts after the completion of B. Where B is done, ma? B is done here. From there I will start D. Is it fine? Sir, anyway, is it fine or not? But sir, the basic fundamental rule is being violated. What is the basic fundamental rule, ma? 2 ending points. This is not at all appropriate. So just to follow the basic fundamental rule, I am joining the D till C. Is it done? This is a perfect diagram. Now once the diagram is done, have a cross check whether all the conditions are satisfied or not. So what is the last condition mentioned, ma'am? D starts after the completion of B. Sir, D is here. It starts after the completion of B. Fine. What about next one? C starts after the completion of A and B. Where is C, sir? C, it is here. So A and B. After that, this is a dummy activity is using the logical flow. Na? So never forget to write that thing as a dummy. Okay. So do not use D. If there is a letter D and if you are using again D and it's gone. So represent dummy 1 or dummy 2. If there are more than one dummy, dummy 1 and dummy 2 will be viable. Okay. So if it is done, next. What about the next condition, ma'am? So preceding B, there should not be. Preceding B, is there anything activity like this? No. And what about A, ma'am? Preceding A also nothing. The basic fundamental rules. Are the fundamental rules clear, ma'am? If the fundamental rules are clear, if the network diagram is done, the 50% of the work is done, ma'am. Because based on the network diagram only, we are framing everything. Okay, like for example, crashing, or if you are calculating the estimated time t value and all, or if you want to calculate variance, if you want to calculate standard deviation, these for these all things, what is the base, ma'am? Diagram is the base. And if you want to identify the critical path, also the base is the diagram. So be perfect with the construction diagram. Okay, and if it is done, let us go with this diagram first. Sir, basically, I want to be clear with the diagrams. If you are perfect with the diagrams and all, you are safe with the process. So let us have it practice, ma'am. So here in this case, what is the first activity, ma'am? The first activity is A. Preceding there is nothing, so it is starting one. So starting. Next, what about next information, ma'am? Sir, BC will start. BC will start after the completion of A. Superb. So I will start BC after the completion of A. This is B and this is C. What about next, sir? He has given the other part. What is the other part, ma? D starts after the completion of B. Superb, sir. I will do that part also. After the completion of B, D starts. What about next one, ma? In this diagram, he is telling E will start after the completion of C because this is activity and preceding activity column. So the next part is this. This is E. Clear? Now, what is the next part he mentioned, ma? Sir, he is telling that F will start where D and E will end. So D and E should end now, sir. So I will have a connection like dummy. I'll use the dummy part. I'll use the dummy part and I will complete the connection. Okay. From that I will go with F, sir. From there I will go with the G, sir. Is it fine, ma? What are basic rules for dummy? I said Sir, basically, two activities are having same starting event, same ending event. This is the first case of using dummy. And what is the second case? An activity repeats twice. Okay, in the preceding column, once individually and with other column. Are those two conditions satisfied? None is satisfied. Then what is the need of using dummy? Is a requirement. So do not use dummies as they are not representing any resources and all. Do not use them unnecessarily. Just connect this one. Is it violating any rule? No? It is not violating any rule. That's a perfect thing. Okay, is the diagram clear? If you're done with the diagram perfectly, once the thing other part is that, check it logically. Okay, from the question, sir, f g starts when ma f completes. Sir, g is here and f is starting. Super. What about d? F will start where d and e ends. D it is here and e it is here. Started. Fine. What about next e and c? Ma? Sir, basically, sorry, e starts when c completes. Fine. What about D? D starts when the completion of B. Fine. What about A? So what about B and C? B and C will start where A ends. And what is the A rule? Please clear this should be thing. Okay, clear? If it's clear, it's fine. Next. So try to do this one. You try to do this once. Pause the video here and try to solve that. If you are done with the time, which will be the further levels. Okay. Shall we do it, Ma? Sir, normally in this case, he gave two activities. What are those two activities, Ma? First one, A, there is nothing preceding. B, also there is nothing preceding. So they are concurrent activities. They are starting simultaneously. So in this case, it is A and it is B. And one more most important point, I'm repeating again. While you are drawing a diagram, consider the pencil in the rough first. Then you can go with that part. Okay. And next. So what is the next part, Ma? C starts when the C is starting after the completion of A, and even D starts after the completion of A. So two are starting at the same point. They are burst events. They can also be known as what? Burst events. So for example, C and D. Clear? What about next one? In the next case, E starts where is the completion of C and B. So sir, one more point. E starts when where C and B ends. Sir, should I join like this in short line? It is not appropriate. The line should be in a straight way and there should not be intersecting lines for sure. Okay. So now for our sake and convenience, I am changing these points. It is D and it is C. Am I doing any wrong? No. And for our more better convenience, I'm extending like this. That is the reason why I will ask you to go with the pencil first. If you're going with a pencil, then you can rearrange them as per requirement. And once it is done, you can go with the construction. Now, what is the next one, ma'am? So we are done with this condition. Next, F starts where D and E ends. Where D and E, sorry, E starts where C and B ends. So let us do that part first. This is E. So this is the point. This point is satisfied. Now, what about F? F starts where D and E ends. Sir, can I use a dummy here? Sir, appropriate, fine, but are the two conditions satisfied? No. When the two conditions are not satisfied, the way you are using the dummy is not appropriate. So simply extend the line. Done, sir. I extended the line, it is done. Clear? Now, sir, what is the point there, ma? F starts when D and E ends. So go with the point. Here it is F. Clear? Now, what is the next last scenario, ma? G starts where completion of F. So F is done. We shall continue that part. That is clear. Why I am concentrating only on the network diagram is that is the base part. If that part is done, you can calculate easily the critical path, you can calculate the float and all, you can calculate standard deviation, you can calculate variance. So that is a basic important part. Is it clear, ma'am? Sir, and once the diagram is done, go with the cross check of the questions. Go with the points. If you are done with the points, then it's fine. So till here we are done with the basic construction of network diagram. Now the basic part is that in the network diagram, the most important thing is that to calculate the project duration. What is the time taken to complete the project is important. Am I clear? So that is nothing but the time taken to complete the entire project. So see the point there, bro? So time taken to complete the project is nothing but project completion time or a project duration. Because normally each activity consumes some time. For example, for any activity 2 days, 3 days, 4, 1, 2, 7, 9. So there is a time taken to consume that complete that activity. So this we need to calculate the total for the project duration. Sir, as the time is given, just by taking the calculator and adding the total is not appropriate because there are some process. Sir, that won't be effective. You may calculate like 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 1 plus 2 plus 7 plus 9. This is absolutely wrong. Now we are not required to go through reason and all. Basically, to calculate the project duration, what we should do first? The basic fundamentals. First, construct the network diagram. Superb, sir. We are done with that part. Anyway, I have solved three things so that we get clarity. Next, what now? Identify the alternative paths from the starting event and ending event. For this diagram, what is starting event now? This is starting event. And this is ending event. From this all, basically, what is the point there? So this is starting event. Sorry. So this is starting event. This is ending event. What are the alternative paths we are having? So what are the alternative paths we are having from starting to the ending? That is important. So this is one path, and this is the other path, and this is the third path. Totally three paths are there. So identify the number of routes from the starting event to the ending event. Okay, that is the basic thing. See that part. Identify the alternative paths from the starting event to ending event. Okay, and after identifying the paths, what you should do, you should do the totaling of, for example, in this diagram, what are the alternative paths from the starting part to the ending part? So basically, that is A, D, I, F, and G. That is one path. Next, A, C, E, F, and G. What is the third case? B, E, F, and G. These are the three alternative paths we are having. So when we are having these three alternative paths, what is the basic thing we have to do? Just add the total of the duration of that path. So for A, how much is the time? I mentioned 2. Okay, so 2 plus 4 plus F 7 G 9. That is the duration for the entire that path. Sir, alternative paths. That is, three alternative paths are identified now. Once the three alternative paths are identified, calculate the duration for that path. Okay. So for the second path, what is the duration now? 2 plus 1 plus 2 plus 7 plus 9. Okay. And for the third path, what is the duration now? 3 plus 2 plus 7 plus 9. What is the total for this duration now? How much, buddy? 13 plus 9, 22. Am I right? 16%. Okay. Next, what is the second case now? In this case, what is the duration? 16 plus 5, 21. What about last one? 16 plus, again it is also 5, 21. Okay. Once this part is done, what is next, sir? Identify the path with the highest duration. What is that, ma? Identify the path with the highest duration. So of all this, what is the highest duration, ma? ADFG is the highest duration path. So, and that you need to mention with a double line. Double line should be mentioned for that path. That is most important, ma. If you mention that one with a double line and all, that will be the critical path. Sir, we are using the new word there. What is that word, ma? Critical path. That path duration will be the duration of entire project. Okay. So once I'm repeating the process, so we identify the alternative paths from the starting event to ending event, and we mention in order. After that, we can take the highest one. That highest one will be the duration for the entire project, and this also known as critical path. The activities in the critical path should not be delayed. If delayed, entire project will get delayed. Is it clear, ma? If you're delaying the activities in the critical path, entire project will be getting delayed. Is it clear? So now, the same points are mentioned here. So what is that point now? Highest duration is known as project duration. Also, minimum time for completion of project. So highest duration, that is in our case 22 days now. This is the minimum time to complete the entire project without any delay, basically. Okay. So when this part is done, what is the next point, ma'am? Minimum duration is equal to maximum time to complete the sequence. For a minimum time to complete entire project is the maximum duration of paths. 33 paths are there. That is about it. Okay. Now, so it is also known as what, my critical path, basically, and this is mentioned with a double line. Okay. So one thing is that when you are constructing the diagram with a pen and all, first off, pencil, you you check the conditions. If they are satisfied, then go with identifying the paths. Okay, and automatically make it with the pen also perfectly. Then mention it with double lines. Draw the diagram legibly. It will be effective. Minimum neatness is required. So by seeing this question, we shall solve the problem basically. Shall we? Shall we solve this one, ma? So now let us go with the critical path, ma. By seeing this diagram, first basic fundamental thing. So for anything, the basic logic is that we need to consider the diagram. So Here in the question A, B, C, in the preceding there is nothing there. So there is nothing preceding them. So they are the starting parts. They are starting simultaneously. Is it clear? So as it is clear, this is A, this is B, and this is C. 3. Now what is next one? D starts after the completion of E, and E starts after the completion of E. Next, what is he mentioning now? He is giving information that F will start after the completion of B, E, D. Sir, how to join them? Sir, let us go with the dummies. So I will construct dummies like this, and I will construct dummy like this, and finally I will start. Is it fine? No. Why, sir? Dummy, there are only two rules. Only then we have to use the dummies. In other cases, never use dummies. Am I clear now? If I am clear, so that is the reason why I humbly request you to construct with a pencil. So now for our convenience, we are extending the B to till here. And I am rearranging E. And even I am rearranging B also. Now, sir, where B, E, D ends, who will start ma? F will start. Clear na? Once the diagram is done, the thing is that you have to go with the cross check whether our diagram is appropriate or not. For F will start where ma? Where B, E, D ends. Fine, superb. What about next E ma? E starts where A ends. Superb. What about D starts ma? D starts of the completion of C. Fine, sir. Superb. A, B, C. Preceding that there is nothing. So A, B, C. There is no preceding. Our diagram is a perfect diagram. Then what is next one ma? Plot the time on the activities. Sir, for A, what is the time given there? 3. Okay, and for B, what is the time given there? 7. For C, the time given is 4. Is it clear? If it is clear, next thing is what ma? Now, the next part is that what ma? Sir, for a D, what is the time taken there? 6 days. For E, the time taken is 5, and for F, the time taken is 3. Now, when you are asked to calculate the project duration, what you should do? This is a starting event, this is an ending event. What are the alternative paths? We need to identify it and represent or present them in a proper way. Sir, is the diagram clear? If it is clear, I'm going with the part. So, serial number, paths, and duration. These are the 3 columns we need to maintain. So, for example, the first path, what is the first path now? A to E, E to F. That is the first path. What is the second path, sir? This path should be mentioned the path part now. Sorry. Okay. This is serial number 1. Now, what is the duration for this path basically? Okay. So you can calculate the duration now, or after completion of all the alternative paths, you can calculate. So what is the second path now? That is B to F. Next, what about third one now? C to D, D to F. These are 3 alternative paths. Now, what is the duration there? So basically, duration how to get more? Just add the time given on the activities. That is 3 plus 5 plus 3. And what about next one more? 7 plus 3. Next one, 4 plus 6 plus 3. Okay, in these cases, what is the duration total here? How much more it is? 11, 10, and the last case it is how much more? 13. Sir, we have done the calculation of duration for all the alternative paths. And then what is the project duration more? Of all these, what is the highest, sir? 13 is the highest. The 13 path is the project duration total. And this path is known as what ma? Critical path. Okay, so now in this case, what is a critical path ma? CDF. So it should be mentioned with a double line. I mentioned with a double line. Sorry. Okay, as a critical path is mentioned with a double line, there you write the project duration. Sir, whatever summary is important ma. If you are not writing summary and all, they'll cut the marks. So summary is that project duration is equal to how much more? It is 13. That is highest of all the paths. And critical path, they may ask in exam critical path also. The critical path is, what is it ma? CDF. So if you're writing that, then you will get full marks. Am I clear? So this is a way of construction of critical path and all basically. Okay. Now if it is fine, next most important thing is that float calculation. Okay. So float calculation basically, go with the exact definition. Float is the amount of time the activity can be delayed without impacting the overall project completion time. So there can be chances for us to delay some activities without delaying the project duration. Okay, that's the point. Next, the very basic step in the class. Suppose I'm not going with the basic concept and all. So what is float and all? If you're having brief idea, that is sufficient. So without delaying the project, we are delaying an activity. That's the point. Okay, sir. So for the sake of float calculation, I'm going with this base. The base is that first we need to construct the diagram, and then we have to calculate E and L values for each event. What is it now? For each event, we have to calculate E and L values. Okay. So for E and L values, there are fundamental rules. Okay. Based on that rules, we can go with the point. If it is a regular class, I used to explain everything, but it is exam-oriented point of view. I'm going with only the process, so that while revision and all, it will be effective for you. Okay. So float, if you are having this brief idea, that is sufficient. And the very basic step, what is that? My E and L values for each event. But here once the diagram is done, this node or event, for that we need to calculate E and L values. Am I clear? If I am clear, shall we? So these are the rules for E value calculation. What are the rules for E value calculation, sir? E value of a starting event will always be 0. So here, what is the starting event? 1 is the starting event. For that, the E value will be, what is it but 0. Clear? Next, what is next point? E value goes from left to right. What is left to right, ma? From this to like this, or like this, left to right. Never from right to left. Left to right. Next, what is the next point there, sir? E value will be always highest if they are having more than one events. Sir, to reach a point, to this point, we are having two paths. So if you calculate the E value, take the highest one. I will explain, but the basic fundamental principles I'm telling. Okay. Next, we need to calculate E value for critical path first. Basic rule. Okay. So if I are calculating the E value for a critical path, it is more effective basically. Okay. Once the E value is done for the critical path, then the basic logic or basic simple theme is that L value for the critical path activities or events also will be same. E and L value in the critical path will be same. Okay. And basically remind one thing, E stands for earliest start time. Earliest start time. Okay. So E stands for what, ma? Only earliest start time. That is the basic thing. So now let us follow the basic rules and try to calculate the time. How to that? Okay. Sir, what is the basic first rule, ma? E value of starting event is 0. Sir, super. I mentioned 0. Okay, fine, sir. But before that, we have to enter the critical path. No? What are the alternative paths and how to enter the critical path? So see the point that's first. What are the alternative paths? So for example, 1, sir, they can be representing an activity with the letters or numbers. You know that. So based on that, we are doing it. Shall we? Yes, sir. So diagram is done. Before going with E and L value, what is the basic thing, ma? We need to identify the critical path. For identifying critical path, what is most important, ma? Most important thing is that we need to go with the paths. So serial number, paths, and duration. Okay. There the activities can be represented with the letters or numericals. Numericals will be both combinations. So from that we can identify the serial number. First, what is the path now? 1 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 6, 6 to 7. That is one path. This is the path. Is it done? So because starting event, ending event. Next, what is second path there, sir? Second path. It is done. Next, 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 6, 6 to 7. The second path. 1, 2. What about next one? Third one, third alternative. Third alternative is nothing but 1 to 2, 2 to 5, 5 to 6, 6 to 7. So this is the alternative path. The first path done. Is it the first path? 1 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 6, 6 to 7. Next, what about second path? 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 6, 6 to 7. Next, what about next one? 1 to 2, 2 to 5, 5 to 6, 6 to 7. Now calculate the duration. For the first path, what is the duration, sir? 4 plus 6 plus 8 plus 3. The second path, what is the duration? 6 plus 5 plus 8 plus 3. And for the third path, what is the 6 plus 3 plus 4 plus 3. Is it clear? The most important thing is that while you are drafting the values and all, be careful. If you are drafting something wrong, go on there, it's gone. So be careful with these areas. Okay. So now what we should do, sir? Just calculate, take the calculator, because my humble request, do not use your mind, use a calculator, my humble request. So it is good for you. The point is that what now? Here it is 21, right? Next, what is the next one now? 22, there. And the last one, what is the value ma? It is 16. So of these three, which is the highest ma? 22 is the highest. So 22 is this path. Okay, that is a project duration, and this is what ma? Critical path. Okay, the critical path should be highlighted by using double lines. Is it clear? So now as it is done, now it is easy for us to calculate EMA value. So what is the basic rule I mentioned now? For the starting event, basically E value will be 0. In the critical path, what is the next event? That is 2. So just add the duration. 0 plus 6. What is that more? 6 is the duration. Next. So what is the next event in the critical path? 4 is the next critical event. For that, how to calculate, sir? Sir, here to reach this point, how many alternatives are there? This is one alternative and this one alternative. Of these two alternatives, which gives the highest value, that should be taken as E value. Okay, so if I go to this point, E value will be 4 plus 6, 10. Okay, that is one option. The one option is I'm having is 10 for this point. Okay, and what is the other option, ma? The other option is like this. Here already calculated E. There is 6 plus 5. So whatever project duration it is there, we are adding to that previous one. That is, what is the option there, ma? 11. Which is the highest? 10 or 11? 11 is the highest. So mention the value 11. So the value will be 11 here. Is it done? If that part is done, next event in the critical path is this. So for this, what are the alternative paths? The one path is like this, as you are like this point. What is the value there, ma? Basically 11 plus, what is the duration here? 8. 11 plus 8, that is 19. So if you go with this next alternative path, what is the next alternative path, ma? Like this. You already E value is done, that is 6. 6 plus 3, that is 9. 9 plus 4, how much more? 9 plus 4, 13. Two options, 19 or 13. Which is highest, ma? 19. 19 is the highest. So mention the 19. Okay. And the last one is what, ma? Just for this point, here there are alternative paths? No, one path. That is 22. And one more basic point and basic logic, sir. Here the highest path value is 22 na, and the value also will be same 22. Okay, because we are adding the same path na. So when you are in exam and all, these things may help you the best. So be careful with this area, sir. Again, I'm repeating how to calculate E value. So for starting event it's 0. For that we are adding the duration. Then we are getting the 6 value, and that too we are completing the critical path. And for critical path, if it is done, next what, ma? Again 5. That is 6 plus 5, 11. For here, this point there are two paths, one path and two path. Wherever we are getting highest value for E, that is opted, that value is taken. Next 11 plus 8, 18. This is one way, and this is also one way. 19 or 13, whichever is highest, 119. So at this point, we are adding 19 plus 3. So whatever duration mentioned, that we are adding to that. Okay, is it clear, ma? If it is clear, the value is same. And without wasting any time, you can go with a simple logic, sir. In the critical path, E and L values will be same. So if you go with that option, it will be good for you, because exams, that is 22, 19 and 6. Done with these paths, and even the critical path, it is there, no? This level. You can have a cross check. Okay, sir, for L value, what are the basic fundamental rules function here, ma? L value of a starting event is 0. For sure 0, sir. I'll mention 0, so no issues, sir. And L value starts from where, ma? It goes from right to left, quite opposite to E value. E value starts from what, ma? Left to right. Okay, and L value starts from right to left, reverse direction. So basically at the end, that will be the project duration. Okay, and next, E value will always be the lowest if more than one alternative path it is there. E value we need to calculate E value for critical path first. That's the basic rule. And one more thing, ma, at the end event, whatever we are having the E value, that will be same for L value also. That is fine. Okay. So and L stands for, what is the meaning of L? Latest finish time. What is that, ma? Latest finish time. E stands for earliest start time. E stands for EST. Okay, exam oriented. mainly. Okay, now sir, L stands for LFT, 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 LFT. Clear? And E starts from right to left or left to right? Left to right, E. What about L ma? Quite opposite. Right to left. Okay, so that is most important thing. Once the critical path E and L values are done, we have to go with our values. So here, let us complete E values first. The E, so what is left over? Ma? Two things are left over. For that, how to calculate E values, sir? Basically, at this point, 0 plus duration. What is that value? Ma? It is 4. So 4. For this point, are there more than one alternative path? No. Done. What about next this one? Ma? To reach this point, how many alternative paths are there? Only one path. There is this path. So automatically, what is the value? Ma? 6 plus 3. That is 9. Okay, what about L values? L value starts from right to left. Okay, so that is in reverse direction. Okay, so when you are in reverse direction, to reach this point, any alternative path from here to left? Only one alternative path, one path. That is 11. Where when we are calculating E value, we added the duration. But when we are calculating L value, did the duration. That's all. So 11 minus 6. Okay, how much is the value? 11 minus 6, that will be 5. Okay, and here to reach this point, are there any more than one alternative path? No, only one path. And there is one path. The thing is that 19 minus 4. 19 minus 4 is what is the value of 15. So for E value we are adding, for L value we are deducting. And E value starting even 0, and for L value also same, starting even 0. And we have to calculate E and values for critical path first, basically. And one more logic, E stands for left to right, left to right, left to right. And L value right to left, quite opposite. For E value we are keep on adding, and L value we keep on deducting. That's the basic one. Is it clear, Bob? If this part is clear, then Bob. Next, what is next part, sir? Now we done with the E and L values. Basically, what is the next three formulas now? Three important formulas. What are those three important formulas, sir? Total float, free float, and independent float. First, you need to calculate total float. What is the value, sir? Total float. Either LST minus EST or LFT minus EFT. What is this, sir? That we should understand. Sir, basically, when you are calculating E and L value, E stands for what? EST. L stands for LFT. That you remember. Basically. Okay. And what is the formula? LST minus EST. Okay. And what about free float? Total float minus head slack. Difference between E and L values of the head event. That is the reason why I said head event and tail event are most important. And what about independent float? Whatever free float we got, from that we are deducting tail slack. Okay, this is clear. If it is clear, I shall solve a problem for this also. But let us go to the basic fundamentals. For activity, this activity, it has a tail part, it has a head part. For a tail part, we will definitely calculate E and L values. For head part also we will calculate. Normally, when they are asking us to take EST, that is tail parts part. Tail parts V value. When they are asking us to calculate E value, head part L value. That is the most important logic. And what are the next formulas for D? EST stands for E value of a tail part. EFT is nothing but EST plus duration. L stands for LFT. Remember those points. L value of the head part. Next, LST LFT minus duration. Quite opposite to these things we are doing this. Is it clear? If it is clear, okay. Now, based on this, we will upload some other problems also so that you can solve. And two most important, that is time calculation is also most important. So time calculation, we are having 4 times normally. Expected time, optimistic time, most likely time, pessimistic time. And we need to calculate this one. They will be giving these 3 values basically. And using this itself, we are calculating P, the formula, and also we are having the variance calculation. That we shall go with the problem. Okay, shall we?